Let's have a wee bit of the Daily Stoic for today, the 21st of November. This one's from Chrysippus, quoted by Plutarch in Moralia against the Stoics on common conceptions. You got that? And it says, "A good isn't increased by the addition of time, but if one is wise for even a moment, they will be no less happy than the person who exercises virtue for all time and happily passes their life in it." That's a tricky one to parse. If a good isn't increased by the addition of time, but if one is wise for even a moment, they will be no less happy than the person who exercises virtue for all time. I think this means it's like that time where I was travelling back to St Andrews after running away with the fear. At that time I was diagnosed with depression. I think it was anxiety related, and I was having to give a presentation about some classic 20th century Russian literature, a short story by Andreev. And I was freaking out, and I ran away and I went back home to Prestwick, and I spent some time there in the library doing some research and reading to prepare for this presentation. And on the way back, I got the bus back from Glasgow to St Andrews. Early doors, first bus in the morning, so it was dark when I got on the bus, and as I was travelling through Fife, the sun came up over a copse of trees over in the distance, and at that moment I experienced what I like to call my very first spiritual experience, spiritual awakening. It was a moment that stayed with me, and it changed my outlook. As I was heading back to deliver the presentation, I found myself changing the entire thesis of my argument, which, I mean, to be fair, wasn't much of an argument. I was never that great at literary criticism, and that belief, that mindset was holding me back. But when the sun came up over this copse of trees, I had an epiphany, and I changed the entire thesis of my presentation. And I started writing frantically, preparing it in my head. And when I got back to St Andrews and I delivered the presentation, I got a really high mark for it, which was unusual for me. And my tutor said, "That was a really good argument, well presented. I don't agree with it, but you presented it well and you backed it up with quotations from the book." So that was a moment, and I can't hold on to that. I can't be that way all the time. Would that I could, but I can't. So I just acknowledge the fact that that happened, and it has happened again a couple of times, but it's not something that I can make happen. I can just remember that it's possible, and that it once happened, and that it was life-changing. I think that's what today's reading is saying. You take from it what you will. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.